Hello, pioneers! Have you bought any Picoin today? When the Pi Network project had not yet launched its open mainnet, pifromus always believed and confidently assured you that Picoin would inevitably transition to the open network and be listed on exchanges. We also reasoned and explained to you that the open mainnet does not signify the project's success, and there was never a scenario where Picoin would instantly reach $100 or even $10. Now that these events have unfolded, pifromus is embarking on a new mission. Once again, we firmly believe and confidently affirm that Picoin's price will 100% increase in value. Before we delve into the reasons behind this statement, let's take a look at our history of buying Picoin using an accumulation strategy, consistently purchasing Picoins every month. The goal is to accumulate a larger quantity of Picoin each month alongside daily free mining. If you ask when Pi Network will hit rock bottom so you can go all in and buy Picoin, you won't find an answer because we don't know, and nobody does. Even market makers and whales base their pump and dump actions on market conditions rather than any fixed timeline or date. However, one thing is certain, Picoin's price will rise. Watch the video until the end to understand the reasons behind this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy the content we share. This is a community-building channel for pioneers, committed to seeing the Pi Network project through to the end. Do you know what matters most to a cryptocurrency project? It is its existence. Every crypto project must first prove its ability to survive before we can talk about whether it will succeed. Look at the king of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and other major projects today. They have existed for decades to achieve their current success. However, it is crucial to understand why cryptocurrency projects can sustain their existence. The answer is simple. The project's operating costs must be lower than the revenue it generates. The smaller the cost and the greater the revenue, the more valuable the coin becomes. Let's take Bitcoin as an example to clarify this point. Bitcoin is a project where the developer didn't raise funds, nor did they spend money on advertising or marketing. And of course, Satoshi Nakamoto didn't personally fund the computer systems to maintain Bitcoin's blockchain. He simply created Bitcoin, and from there, the community took care of everything, building and operating the network. Do you see the key takeaway here? Bitcoin is the king of cryptocurrencies and has remained unmatched because of this very reason. Bitcoin cannot be killed. Even if governments try to ban it, the community will always find ways to keep it running. This is the fundamental difference that later projects have struggled to replicate or have only partially achieved. Every crypto project that came after Bitcoin had to raise funds through ICOs or spend heavily on marketing to attract users. They constantly rely on creating FOMO through news events to draw in new participants. Without continuous FOMO and public interest, these projects gradually fade into obscurity and eventually get delisted from exchanges. When the development team runs out of money for marketing or can no longer create FOMO, they let the project die and move on to launch a new one. So what about Pi Network? Pi Network never needed to sell ICOs and has not been listed on any exchange for the past 6 years, yet it continues to exist. Why? Because the Pi Core team has built a system where Pi Network generates its own revenue. This system is now sufficient to sustain the entire project, preventing it from collapsing. Even though Picoin is now listed on exchanges, you need to understand that the Pi Core team doesn't need to sell Picoins to keep the project running. Suggesting they would secretly dump Picoins on the market for minor profits is entirely unnecessary. They can earn significant and sustainable revenue within the Pi Network ecosystem itself. As we have analyzed in many of our videos, they are more likely to sell large amounts of Picoins directly to companies, businesses, or even governments, rather than bothering with small retail sales. Understanding this crucial point is essential. From this reasoning, we arrive at another important point. The exchanges, the whales, and the market makers. Don't you think they can see that Pi Network is an unbreakable project? Of course, they know this, and it's certain that they will use Pi Network to make money. Regardless of the project, exchanges only care about one thing: which project can help them generate profits. With Pi Network, a long-term project with a continuously growing user base, the whales can make substantial profits. The formula for making money is simple. Dump and pump the price of Picoin. But it won't happen over 1 or 2 days or even a few months. The dump and pump cycle here is a long-term process that could span years. There will be small, short-term dump and pump events, but over time, the price of Picoin will inevitably trend upward. Why? Because this is the only way for them to profit from the community. If they allow the price of Picoin to drop too deeply, wealthy pioneers will quickly buy up all the available Picoins, leaving no room for market makers to earn money. Why is pifromus so confident about this? It's because exchanges will confidently pump the price of Picoin, knowing that the Picore team will not dump coins on them. It's similar to how Satoshi holds 1 million Bitcoins in his wallet, but has never sold a single one. Likewise, the Picore team doesn't need to dump Picoins on the market for some minor profit. So, what should we do? We simply need to wait long enough for the whales and market makers to do their job, pumping the price of Picoin. The price of Picoin will increase in the future. Remember this video, pioneers, and leave a comment under it as a milestone. When Picoin's price surges in the future, we can look back at this very moment. If you believe what pifromus is saying is true and want to support us in continuing the 100% Picoin Price Will Rise series, you can donate just 1 Picoin to the channel. Even a small donation of 1 Picoin would make us incredibly happy, just like user @RonaldCarlos8520 did. Thank you so much. There are many content creators out there, and if they all start using pinetwork to receive donations from viewers, the day when YouTube, Facebook, or X integrates Picoin into their platforms won't be far off. This is the Pi donation movement that we want to spread throughout the crypto community. Good luck, Pioneer. Your Pi, your choice.